Hey guys, it's Shirkavto here, and welcome to the Mega Dimension DLC, where a lot happens in this video, but without further ado, let's get into it, and make sure to like and subscribe. We start off this adventure as we would any other, making donuts, and then we start to travel to each and every zone, just collecting the points that we need to get through each area. Now, of course, during the videos, I'm going to start trying to talk more, doing more, but just overall, I want to stay consistent with this and just keep growing the channel. But in this area we find onyx, cubone, and we just collect as many points as we can and finish it out as fast as we can. After completing the challenges in the zone, we go to collect the bonus Pokeball, which you get hyper berries out of, by the way, in case you didn't know. But they become very effective when being used to make donuts, so that you can use them for higher level caps as well as a longer time frame in those zones. I also think they made the zones very unique with the way they designed each one and kind of built them. But with the ones that are higher levels as well, I noticed that those ones tend to be bigger, as well as they can spawn more than just the 3 Pokemon you see on the screen. Now, once I found this area for ghost types, I decided to go for a shiny hunt here, where I get a Shuppet spawn right next to me, so I decided to start going for that after exploring the zone for a little bit of time. The main ways I've been shiny hunting as well throughout these zones is I've just been fast traveling to the area if the spawn is close enough to where the entrance is, and if not, I will use the teleporting pads to do so, but I haven't come to a spot where I've needed to do that yet. But we end up getting the Shuppet here, and then we go on to take photos with it after, because I think the photos in this are just peak. After taking these amazing photos with Shuppet, we go to the next zone where we find a Klefki, Aaron, and Beldum spawn, which I wanted to shiny hunt, but I end up just going for points in most of these areas just so I can max out the amount of points I have. Now, I don't question why I went into the next zone after this. I honestly don't know. I'm pretty sure I was just going for EXP candies, but mainly I've just been trying to enjoy the DLC, but most of it's been making me feel like this. We go on to travel the next area where we end up finding a spawn for Electrike, Helioptile, and a mystery spawn. Now, I was questioning what this mystery spawn was, but once we got to the area, and after exploring for a little bit and finding the Electrike, we find out that it's a Toxel spawn. Of course, after teleporting back to the main area, we reset the day to see what spawns we can get in the new Hyper Distortion realms. Now, I decided I wanted to start shiny hunting, so this is where we begin our shiny hunting adventure. Now, we get to the first zone where we find a Sharkadet spawn, and I immediately wanted to go for this shiny. And what do you know? As I look around the corner, there is indeed a Sharkadet spawn, so we immediately start resetting, and here's what we find. With our amazing luck, we find the shiny Sharkadet and we go to catch it. Now, after catching this, of course, we have to take shiny photos for the team, so we get into that, but then we go on to find the challenge that we need to do for the malicious set of armor, so I can evolve him into Saraluge so that he can be added to the team. As it turns out, we just so happen to be this guy's rival. We were born the same day as children with the Pokemon Sharkadet, and we were rivals ever since. Now, I think they did amazing for the dialogue of these missions as well, just adding to the story and kind of adding more for you to do. But after this mission, we also go on to do a couple others as well. But our rival ends up evolving his Sharkadet into Armarouge, and we evolve ours into Saraluge, beginning the rival battle, which goes out pretty easy. I mean, I didn't expect it to be this easy. I kind of felt bad after using the Shadow Claw, but it happens. With that, we finish out this mission, where we end up telling this guy a couple things, which was the fact that I am his true rival. After taking some amazing photos with Sarah Luge, we go to meet Corinna at the next hyperspace distortion. And when I tell you I wasn't ready for this fight, I will admit I had to do this fight about 3 times before I actually beat it, but you will see what happens next. We make it to the sushi table, where I was wondering what was going on here until the Tatsuguri appeared. And now we get into the mega battle. I truly do think they did a very good job with this design, but when doing this mega battle, this Tatsuguri hops around like crazy, so you just have to keep going as long as you can until you finally beat it. I ended up using Forges for most of the battle to get high damage with my fairy type moves, and this is how it plays out. With Mega Tatsuguri defeated, we can go on to catch the Tatsuguri, as well as obtaining the Mega Stone, which was called Tatsugurite. But overall, I'm still thinking they did amazing with this, and I'm just excited to go into the next part of the adventure. After giving onto the butter, we have this cutscene where Jet is looking at the sky, and she's talking to Vinny about something. I truly think they did amazing for these animations though, and I can tell this DLC has so much more to come throughout it. But we see the sky light up like this, and then we go on to start our next day in the adventure. We wake up the next day in Lumway City, where we have to go check on our friend Naveen. Naveen ends up losing her canary plushie, and I was wondering who the culprit might have been until this Gulpin appears. Gulpin goes up to Naveen to hand her back the plushie, which is very nice of the Gulpin. But with that, we can finally go on with the rest of our adventure. Of course, after finishing up this conversation with Corbel, we go to the next hyperspace distortion, where I knew I wanted to shiny hunt Phantom in this zone. So we immediately start going for it after exploring for a little bit of time in the zone. After teleporting to the area for a little bit of time, we go to check the spawns around the area, and we see 2 shiny Pumpkaboos, which I was very excited to get that as well. But we go to check the Phantoms, and of course there ends up being 3 of them, so we go to catch the one on the side and then go immediately towards the others. I do think they did amazing with the shiny hunting in this game, and in the hyperspace distortions. I don't even think it's bad with the time limit in these areas, considering the amount of times you're able to reset during that time. But the entire time I was feeling like this. With that, we teleport back to the main area, and of course we have to take pictures with the shiny Phantom. Now, I know what you're saying. You're probably like, man, this guy takes a lot of photos with this Pokemon, but the photos in this game are just amazing. But we go into the next Hyper Distortion area, where there's a new Mole, Cubone, and Sandile spawn, and we just travel and start collecting points again, getting as many points as we can to be able to fight the next Hyper Distortion Mega Battle. These zones, though, in all, are just honestly very unique, and I like how they mixed up the challenges that we get for them. Although I haven't seen the shiny quest ever since the first time I got that challenge. With that, we go on to the next area to shiny hunt, where we go for a Torchic shiny hunt, and we immediately get Torchic spawns, so we immediately start resetting and save before so we can see what we got. Now, I was praying that we got more than one here, and I was extremely excited when I saw this. After finally catching the shiny Torchic spawn, we decide to start to head back to the main area, where we have to take photos again with the Torchic. Now, I have to say, these do look amazing, so I'm just going to let this play out, but the way Blaziken looks is probably one of my favorite shinies in this game. Of course, while taking pictures with Blaziken, we had to aura farm with him, but with that we go to the next hyperspace distortion where we find a Mareep, Pikachu, and Helioptile spawn, but we mainly just go to this area to collect points. But after that we decide to go buy some berries at the berry shop, and then we proceed to do some side missions just to get some progress with that. We of course, while in Hotel Z, have to get rid of some of the old donuts that we don't need and go make some more with Ansha so that we have better time limits in the Hyper Distortion realms. And we get to this side mission where we have to show her what's on the Pokemon sewer in the Rogue section, and I like how in these we're able to show off our shinies as well, because it just makes it so much better when doing this. Now, in the very next mission, we have to go fight these annoying birds, and the fight was very simple, but after we fight them, they just disappear around the map, and so with that, I was questioning if they're going to be in the world somewhere just randomly where we can catch them. The next side mission though is a very interesting one, where it's the fact of we have to help this Mime Jr. deliver mail to a mailbox. And while doing so, we go through one test run, and then we fail about 3 other times, and then we finally get to the point where we do it correctly, and we have to face off against these Croc Rock and Sandiles. And after doing that, we complete the challenge, and we go on to the next area. In a lot of these zones, I've just been trying to figure out the best way to collect Pokeballs and get XP candies and everything so that we're able to level up the team, and as well as level up new Pokemon that we get so that we can add them to the team and use them in this DLC. There's a lot I want to be able to do with this, but we go on to get the bonus Pokeball in this zone, and then we go back to the normal world where we of course travel to another Hyper Distortion world, where we find a spawn for Starly, Swablu, and Pidgeot, which none of these I wanted to shiny hunt for, so we just go to this area and we collect as many points as we possibly can. The only thing I don't like about these areas is how many points we actually have to gain to be able to do these missions and everything, because once it starts getting to the numbers in the 23,000s, I feel like it's just forcing us to travel these zones, and it's not like we're not going to do that and shiny hunt the things we want to. Now, in this area, we decide to go for a Beldum hunt because we get this spawn right off the start, and I really want to do a shiny living dex, so we go for it, and this is what we find. Now overall, I was not mad about finding a shiny Klefki, but I did want to find a shiny Beldum. But with that, we travel back to the main area and we take pictures with the shiny Klefki. After taking pictures with shiny Klefki though, we find a good spawn for Pichu, Pikachu, and Aaron, where I want to go for a Pichu hunt. And as soon as I look down from this area, I see Pichu, so I immediately start going for it after exploring the area for a little bit of time. Now, at first when I was going down here, I did not see that, but when I saw that, I was so excited, and we immediately go to catch the shiny Pichu. And with that, we go out of this hyper distortion world after walking around for a little bit of time. Of course, we had to aura farm and send pictures to our friends again of the new shiny partner. But with that, we go to the next area where there's a Honedge, Beldum, and Aaron spawn. But we only use this area to gain points, so we explore around, destroy as many Pokeballs as we can. But with that, we also just kind of figure out how big these areas truly are. Because that one was a lot bigger than the others, but it has around, I believe, 2 different typings of spawns, which I believe is a good addition to the DLC. But with that, we finally find an area with Totodile, and as soon as I see the Totodile spawn next to me, I decide to teleport to the area next to me, explore for a little bit, and then start resetting to find a shiny Totodile. With that, we catch the shiny Totodile, and of course we had to take a couple more photos with this one to send to the friend group yet again, but I am very excited for this one because he's one of my favorites, and Soul Silver, he was my starter in every single game that I played. We went on to collect the bonus Pokeball in this zone where there was a Torchic and Houndour spawn, but we epically failed shiny hunting them because nothing wanted to appear shiny. But, I mean, we all win some and we lose some in shiny hunts, so with that we go on to the next area to get the rest of the points so we can do the next Road to Mega Battle. Of course, this one ends up being inside Hotel Richimis, which I was questioning a lot of, but we end up going to do more filler stuff, which includes going back to buy more berries as always, as well as go back to Ansha to make the donuts that we need. And after leveling up my team for a little bit of time and making the donuts, we go on to take the Mega Crabominal fight, which I didn't think was going to go well, but this time I was ready to take it on full force, and Sarah Luge put in a lot of work at the very beginning and I was very proud of them. But we are able to continue on with this fight, and I will let you guys see how it plays out. After Ampharos pulls off last second thunder, she manages to take out one of the Crabominables, so I send out Florges to take out and finish the rest of the fight. With that though, we were able to obtain the Carbomite, which we're able to use to Mega Evolve him. And now we're able to move on to the next area, which I was very excited for. Of course, I don't think I should have expected to be able to go into this area like any other, because we end up offending her somehow and we have to take on this double battle. And it was an extremely easy double battle, but the point is, I did not expect to go into this directly when we walked in the front door. Luge, of course, is able to take out the battle and finish off Clefable, which means we're able to move on to the portal to see what's going on in this area. I was very unprepared for this Mega though, and when I saw it, I was extremely excited to fight it, but I mean, this battle had me like this the entire time. And I think the way that they made this Mega in general just looks amazing, and I can't wait to see its shiny form. But here's how the battle goes. Meowstic pushes everyone away and is able to add a trick room around her, which I thought was a very interesting and unique effect to these battles, where you have to go attack one single frame to be able to destroy it, but then you're able to deal critical damage to the Meowstic, which helps out a lot during these battles as well. The Mega Meowstic of course goes on to set up one more trick room in which we are able to destroy, and in this moment we're able to finally take it out. And with this, we are finally able to obtain the Mega Stone for Meowstic. And I'm very excited to see this Mega, which I will be showing off in the very next video. But we head back to Hotel Z to talk to everyone, and overall, I think they just truly did amazing for this story in the DLC. I mean, they added a lot to it, and it's very exciting to just see this in Pokemon. After finding out that crazy information, we go on to go to bed, where we have this dream where Pokemon says stop. And as I started thinking about this, I started thinking about how Darkrai is the dream Pokemon, in a sense, or nightmare Pokemon. And with all of this going on like this, it just started leading me to believe that he has something to do with this. Once finally waking up in the morning, I noticed that Lida talks about the same exact dream that we had during the night. And I feel like that's just referencing that something's gonna happen to her later on. But with that, we go in to buy some more berries, and we go in to make some more donuts with Ansha, where we find out we can get abilities like this. And of course, once finally making it to do the briefing with Corbell, we have to do another double battle with Canary and Ivor. Overall, this fight ends up being a little more difficult than the other one, which I like that they are at least progressively getting a little better. But with that, we finish it out and we do our briefing with Corbell. With that, we go to finish the conversation with Corbell, and this basically does it for the video, guys. Of course, there's going to be more to come very soon, so keep those notifications on, make sure to like and subscribe, and of course comment what you think about this DLC so far. But have a nice night, guys, and thank you for watching.